These are the best red lipsticks for fair skin. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I have a video all about 11 really good red toned lipsticks that are great if you have fair skin, depending on your undertone and what you're looking for. I think that a lot of people nowadays tend to be a little bit scared of red lipstick. So if that's you, I hope that this video can help you to figure out what kind of red might look nice on you. Know that for all of the options I'm showing you here today, you could very easily tone them down and wear them just as a blotted stain. You don't have to go full on with a red lipstick if you don't want to. However, I'm going to be swatching all of these full on, and red lipstick is actually one of my best colors, so you'll see what it does to my face. This is with nothing on, and here we go to the reds. When it comes to red lipstick, I have a couple of things from the drugstore. I have some MAC options, I have some Lisa Eldridge options for you, and I have some K-Beauty options for you. I'm going to save the K-Beauty ones till the end of the video because those are lip stains and they're going to be very difficult to remove and it's going to mess with the rest of my makeup. But we'll start with the drugstore options first. And the first option I have for you is Revlon's Fire Ice. This is a classic. This shade has been around for a long time. And this is what we would categorize as more of an orange toned red. So if you don't know, reds can be a little bit more like blue tone, they can be a little bit more orange or yellow leaning, and reds can also be a little bit more like pinky leaning, and this is one of the ones that pulls a little bit more orange, especially on me. I do have a fair skin tone that's more cool to neutral. It's why I can get away with a lot of things because I'm not super cool toned. I just prefer cool tones very often on me. So for me, what I tend to go to if I wear red lip is a blue undertone. 100%, it's the most neutral and therefore it's going to work for most people. But if you have more warm toned skin and you want to complement that, or maybe if you want something very fiery and fun for the summertime, then something like Revlon's Fire Ice can be good. Something like MAC's Lady Danger, if they still do that, is also a really good option. And here is what Revlon's Fire Ice looks like on me. I think this is a stunning shade. I did almost declutter it though because it's not my best red. So I don't tend to reach for this all that often, but then I went to my declutter pile to select some products to pass on to other people and I found this again. And I was like, I'm gonna have to keep this because I don't have too many other orange tone reds in my life anymore. And this is a little bit more of a satiny formula. It's very creamy, really hydrating on the lips, so it's very comfortable to wear. It therefore does slide around a little bit more, and therefore it's not the most long-wearing option I have for you today. But it is a really good lipstick, and I was like, you know what? It's from the drugstore. I haven't kept too many reds from a drugstore brand, and this way I still have one. And I do think it's a really pretty lipstick. With reds, depending on the undertone, it can make your teeth look a little bit yellowy. So that's why I don't love reds that are too orange, because it tends to do weird things to my teeth, really. The blue tone ones are going to make your teeth look optically whiter, just so you know. So here is the Revlon. And the other drugstore option I have for you isn't technically a drugstore brand. They are priced at a drugstore price point though. And I'm talking about Kiko Milano. Their Velvet Passion range is one of the best matte lipstick ranges I have been able to find. This rivals some high-end brands. It has really beautiful packaging that has this magnetic closure that snaps shut. And then the shade inside this is shade 312. It's called Cherry, I believe. And this shade is exactly the same as one of the Lisa Eldridge options I will be showing you later on. So if you're on a budget and you don't want to splurge on a Lisa Eldridge lipstick, don't think you have to because Kiko does something really beautiful. And I think if I swatch this, yeah, next to the Revlon, you can really see the difference in undertone between these two. So the Revlon is right here, and this is the Kiko. And you can see, this almost looks like an orange now, rather than a red. This is Revlon Fire Ice, and here we have the Kiko one. So the Kiko one is one of my favorites. This is another one that I've kept at the drugstore because I love this formula so much. I tend to wear a different lipstick from this range a little bit more often though, because I have the Lisa Eldridge one that it's very similar to, and that's the one I opt for mostly. I mean, if you have it, you're gonna use it, of course. But yeah, the Kiko Velvet Passion shade 312 is really, really stunning. And here is the Kiko Milano option, and you can tell, hopefully, why I love a blue tone red, because this goes with my complexion so, so well. This is a beautiful lipstick. I love the formula of this. It's pigmented, creamy, long-lasting, especially if you wait a little while for you to drink or eat after applying this. If you wait a good hour after applying a matte bullet lipstick like this, even without a lip liner, without anything on top, it's going to last a really good while. It's why I love some of the brands I will be showing you here today, because they are long wearing. I'm a teacher in my day-to-day life, so I want my lipstick to last most of the day without touch-ups, because I either forget or I don't have the time in my workday to be touching up a lipstick. And this formula is one of those really good ones. It's very long wearing. Of course, it's going to wear down, but sometimes I just like take my finger and just rub in whatever is left, and that way I still get a full coat. Because this is so pigmented, you can easily do that with that. Now, a good red lipstick doesn't have to cost bucket loads. There are plenty of options at the drugstore. I feel every single brand under the sun usually does a classic red in every single lipstick range they do. So if you find a formula that you like and you like the shade of it, it can be worth a try. But I have just found over time that MAC and Lisa Eldridge are the goats when it comes to lipstick for me. Those are my two favorite lipstick ranges. Those are the two brands I have the most by. They are pricier, but they do a really good range of different shades, which is why today I will be featuring 4 MAC lipsticks. 2 of them are the Powder Kiss, 1 of them is a standard matte, and then I have a Frost for you. This is the Rogue option. This is why there are 11 options in this video today, because I wasn't sure whether I should feature this, but I was like, hey, it's a red lipstick that I do have that I might want to show them. So this is New York Apple. I'm not sure if they still do this. MAC has, since I bought some of mine, been rebranding their entire lipstick range. Like, so many shades either have different names or they have disappeared completely. But this is a shade that I picked up as part of the Back to MAC program. Back when MAC still had Back to MAC, you could return a couple of products and they get a free lipstick. And I had so many older MAC products that had expired right before they discontinued the program that I decided to get something, and I went with some Rogue options at the time that I don't wear a lot, but that's why they're Rogue options, right? These aren't things that are top of mind for people, but I do think this is a really pretty shade. Because of the shine, this can actually be a little bit more easy to pull off than a full-on matte red. That can look a little bit flat and almost like velvety on the lips sometimes. If that's not a look you like, then looking into a frosty finish may actually be the game changer for you. And here's what New York Apple looks like on me. It doesn't look super red, and I think that that's an option that is going to appeal to a lot of people. If you're not used to these full-on red lipsticks on yourself, you can feel a little clownish or garish or anything like that, but something a little bit more muted down like this can sort of ease your way into a red lipstick if that's what you're looking to do. This has a little bit of a berry vibe to it. I feel it looks more red on the back of my hand than it does on my lips. It looks a little bit more purpley once it goes onto my lips because I do have a purpley undertone to my natural lip color, and I feel this is a slightly sheer formula. It's not as opaque as, for instance, the Kiko one is. That's like one swipe and it's color. This one needs a couple of coats, but I like this. I like this a lot. And this, like I said, is a good beginner lipstick. Now, a shade I believe they still do, even though it's been reformulated, is Stay Curious. And it kind of fits into a similar vein as New York Apple. This is from the Powder Kiss line. And this is a red, but it's a very muted red. So if you wanted a red that leans a little bit more neutral, then this can be a nice one. It's just not that vibrant. It's almost got more brown mixed into it, which makes it really, really toned down. And because of this Powder Kiss formula, that's also this like blurry satin sort of looking vibe, it definitely doesn't look too intense. It's still a red, but it's more of that muted, neutral leaning red, which, again, if you just want to dip your toe into a red, you don't want to go full on color, I think this is a stunning option. And here's what Stay Curious looks like on me. On me, it looks actually quite peachy, which is not my favorite. It's why I don't wear this more often. But again, if you want something more muted down, you don't want anything too intense compared to something else that I've already shown you. It's just really, really muted. It still falls within that red family, but then it has a slightly more nuanced take to it, which I think a lot of people might enjoy. It doesn't really go with the purpley neutral eyeshadow I'm wearing today. I'm very well aware. I need a different eye look to make this look right on me, but I think it still looks really, really beautiful. The other powder kiss I have for you is Lasting Passion, in an attempt to show you what a pinky toned red might look like. This isn't something, again, that I wear a lot, but I don't have too many of my pinky toned reds anymore because I just don't reach for them. But this is sort of like that strawberry, I've just eaten ripe fruit kind of vibe. That's what this gives when you wear it on your lips, at least to me, it does. And this is absolutely gorgeous. It's just, combined with the formula and sort of the vibrancy that this has, I feel it's a little weird on me. It's almost like too coral almost. So, and I like a coral from time to time, but I used to wear corals a lot, like 10 to 15 years ago. Coral and peaches were my go-to shades, and nowadays I just don't gravitate towards them anymore, but a shade like this is more pinky leaning in terms of a red. And this is what Lasting Passion looks like on me. It looks more like a fuchsia on me, I feel, than this more like raspberry, strawberry, sort of ripe fruit kind of vibe, and I feel that mainly has to do with the finish. This is sort of like a semi-matte finish. It's this very blurry sort of thing, and what I always have with these lipsticks, and Stay Curious doesn't do it as much as this one does, but I kind of feel like there are little gaps whenever I talk and my lips touch together. There is a little bit of like color transfer every single time, but it is a beautiful shade. It is a little bit more vibrant than Stay Curious is, but it's, again, nothing too in your face, and it sort of toes that line between a pink and a red. So especially if you're someone who's not into wearing a lot of pink lipstick, then maybe something like this may actually be really nice to sort of like bridge the gap there, because this does have a little bit more to it, and it really depends how you pair it, what it's going to look like. And then we get to the oldest red lipstick in my entire makeup collection, and that's why it looks very worn. But this is MAC's Russian Red. This is a shade that they created in collaboration with Madonna for her Blonde Ambition tour. So this shade has been around since the 90s. And this is a slightly deeper version of Ribbon, which is why I want to swatch them next to each other. I want to swatch Velvet Ribbon here underneath the Kiko. But here is what Russian Red looks like. Very pigmented, blue toned, but slightly deeper than a lot of classic reds sometimes go. And that's why I like it, because it is that sort of more vampy 1940s, 50s kind of vibe. It has this very classic feel to it. It doesn't get more classic than this, I find. And here is MAC's Russian Red. This is such a stunner of a shade on me. I feel like on me, because I am so fair-skinned, it looks a little bit brighter than it does, I feel, on other skin tones. I feel like the blue tone really pops when I put it on my lips, especially if I'm wearing cooler tone makeup with it. But I can wear this shade with any eye look if it suits a red lip, like a very neutral eye, and this lip is going to work as well. This just goes with everything because it is a little bit of a shapeshifter. I feel because it has the depth, even though it's still blue toned and very neutral, it just really toes that line. Nothing is too warm toned with it, nothing is too cool toned with it, and it kind of optically adapts compared to whatever else is on your face. So I feel that that works really well every single time. and I really enjoy this shade for that reason. And then we get to 3 lipsticks by Lisa Eldridge. And I'm first going to swatch Velvet Ribbon, so you can see it compared to the Kiko, which is right above it, and Russian Red from MAC. This is a slightly brighter blue toned red. On some people, this is going to look very neon almost, because it is that bright and intense. I love that. Mine looks pretty new, but the one I originally had broke off. So that's why I bought a new one, but this is my favorite red lipstick. I went through like half a tube before it broke off. It broke off while swatching, so I'm going to be very careful here to not break this one. And you can see here, let me hold it up close. Here's the Kiko, here's the Lisa Eldridge. Do you see a difference? I don't. And here is MAC Russian Red. So you can see that Russian Red is a little bit deeper than the Lisa Eldridge Velvet Ribbon is. That's why I still have both of those options, even though they feel very similar if you look at it. But when it goes onto my lips, I feel they give a slightly different vibe. Let's have a look at the Lisa Eldridge. And here is Velvet Ribbon. I hope you understand why I like this shade so much. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. It's really nice, bright pop of red. And this is like my favorite red ever. So if you want my recommendation, get this one. This formula is amazing in terms of wear down like the Kiko lipstick. It nicely has this drying time, I feel. If you just let this sit before you eat and drink anything, I feel it's incredibly long wearing. It's why I love my Lisa Eldridge lipstick so much. It is matte, but it's not a flat matte. I felt, for instance, the Kiko one definitely is a little bit more flat. And the Lisa Eldridge has an ever so slightly hint of shine to it. The MAC one does as well. So that's why I feel these work really well. My lip line is starting to disappear, so I did the worst job ever of applying this. I do apologize. But I think it's an absolutely stunning shade. This works on me so well. And it's just an amazing formula that I just rate really highly. And then we'll do them in shade order because we are now finding some deeper reds. And deeper reds can be really hard to find because a lot of brands put like a lot of like blue pigment in it, making it more of a berry. But I've always been looking for reds that have the depth but then of a berry, but then still are a red. They're very hard to find, but Lisa Eldridge makes 2 of them. There is Velvet Jazz, and Velvet Jazz is an incredibly beautiful shade. It's like a deeper version of Velvet Ribbon, but then it still has a blue undertone, I feel, but it has more depth. And this is actually the lipstick I reach for a lot in like the holiday season. I feel it's the perfect red for like Christmas time and those kind of things, Thanksgiving. It's really that sort of festive vibe. This is more of like my everyday red Velvet Ribbon, and then this is the festive one that I like to wear then. So here's Velvet Jazz. And here's Velvet Jazz. And there's just something about this shade because it has a depth. I feel it's vampy, but without it being too vampy. Sometimes deeper tones can look really stark against my skin tone, but this has the depth I want. It has the shade I want. This was the deeper toned red lipstick that I have been looking for. In fact, before I owned this, I actually went to a Bite like lip lab and made this lipstick myself in a slightly different formula, but it was this lipstick. Finally, we have Velvet Duchess, and this is sort of towing the line of, is it a berry, is it a red? I feel it's still a darker berry toned red. This is really beautiful. I wore it loads when I first got it. Haven't worn it as much since because I tend to reach for Velvet Jazz a little bit more. But this is another one of my favorites from Lisa Eldridge. Yeah, this has a lot of purple compared to everything else that I've shown you. But here's Velvet Duchess. This is what Velvet Duchess looks like on me. And I feel that especially when it's on my lips, I feel it's not as berry as other berry tones that are on the market. Very often, because I have that purpley undertone in my natural lip color, berries tend to look extra purple on me. And this I feel, because it's so pigmented, just really nicely like neutrals it down, and it still looks like a red. It's not that berry where I'm like, it's positively purple. It definitely is a nice in-between kind of shade, and it's again slightly deeper than Jazz's. And finally, I have some K-Beauty options for you. I'll do this one first because I think this one is more opaque. But this is the Romand Blur Fudge Tint in Fudge Red. And this is really beautiful. It's again a little bit blurry, a little bit sheer. It is a lip stain. So this is also probably going to stain my hands. So I'm going to try and just swatch a little bit. So it's a little bit like, in terms of texture, it's a little bit more similar as to the Powder Kiss option that I've shown you. And this is again quite orange leaning. So it's quite an orange toned red, but it is a beautiful shade. It's one of the very few blurry tints that I kept in my last declutter. And here is what Fudge Red looks like. It's a beautiful shade. In fact, on my lips, I feel it pulls a little bit more pinky. On the back of my hand, it looks very orange, and then on my lips, it's more of that pinky toned red, and it's more similar to Lasting Passion than it is to Fire and Ice. I don't know what's going on there, but it's a beautiful shade. I think this is lovely. This is a lip stain, so it may actually stain your lips, and when it wears down towards throughout the rest of the day, this is going to leave a little bit of a haze behind, and you can still see the color. So these are, in terms of longevity, some of the most long-wearing things you'll be able to find on the market. I feel lip stains are like better than a liquid lipstick because of that staining quality. What I do find with some lip stains, and then this one, for instance, that not all of them are created equal. This one still wipes off quite easily. The stain it leaves behind is very pretty, but it's quite sheer. So it's not like full-on color that's going to stay there like some lip stains do. This is a little bit more muted and toned down, so it kind of just like looks a little bit more lived in, and because of the blurriness of this, it already starts to look pretty lived in to begin with. And you can very nicely create ombre lips with this. So if you like to experiment using your finger or a brush, you can nicely like just put it on the center of your lips, and it will be this very blurry, fudgy, sort of fuzzy, instead of fudgy, fuzzy sort of lip look. So if that's what you're looking for, then this is an excellent option. Finally, we're going to talk about the Peri Para Ink Velvet in shade 32. This is such a beautiful product. I have several one of these. They did a little set of 3 reds, and this is the more classic red in the set. And it's a little bit similar to Russian red, I feel, where it's a little bit deeper than other reds that I've shown you. Like, you can see how bright the Lisa Eldridge is compared to everything else. I love that. And this is a lovely formula. It's more of a liquefied lipstick, though, than anything else. That is something to bear in mind. So this doesn't have the longevity of most lip stains, I feel, but there is a haze of color at the end of it for sure. It's just a very interesting texture that I just love. It's why I think I have like 6 of these, because I love them so much. I wear the shade Wine Nude more than I do this because I have so many other classic reds, but this is such a good shade. This is called Fuchsia Red, by the way. It's shade 32. And this, again, really, really pretty. I feel the name Fuchsia Red is a little bit misleading because that might make it sound like it's a very pinky toned red. And I feel this isn't super pink. It's more like just that classic blue toned red smack in the middle. So that is something to find there. This is a really lovely formula. I think this is stunning. And these are all the lipsticks that I swatched for you today. So we started off with Revlon, then we had Kiko, then we had MAC, Lisa Eldridge, Romand, and Peri Para. So those are the ones right there. And then this face is going to shut up talking about red lipstick right now. I hope finding all of these options here today is giving you a little bit of an idea of what's out there in terms of the range of different types of reds that you might be able to find. Like I said, when I wear a red, I go full on, I commit. And I just do that. And like I said, if you really pay attention to how you apply your lipstick, it's still going to last all day. So you don't have to worry too much. It's why, for instance, I don't love really creamy formulas in terms of reds. I love a creamy formula on my lips. Don't worry about that. But for a red lipstick, I want it to be matte. So that way it's not going to slide everywhere and it's not going to like go outside my lip line or anything crazy like that. So thanks for joining me here today. Thumbs up this video if you liked it. I make much more content on this channel, so if you want to stick around, that would be lovely. For now, I hope you would like to stay tuned, and I hope to see you again in a new video. Bye-bye.